Hello there everybody. In this lesson we're going to learn how to put together the saxophone mouthpiece, reed, and the neck. That's the top part of the saxophone. It looks like this. It's going to look like this when we're all done. Here we have the reed. It's the wooden part, the mouthpiece, and the neck. First thing I want you to do at home is open your saxophone case the proper way, which means put the case flat on the ground and make sure the correct side is facing up, and then open the latches and lift the lid. Look for this piece right here. This is the reed, and it's probably going to be inside a case that looks like this. So here's our reed inside the case. Now, listen very carefully. You have to be really careful with the reed, because if you're not really careful with it, you might chip it or break it, and then you need to buy a new reed. And reeds cost money. Here's your reed right here. You're going to grab this part that's sticking out the bottom and just slide it out carefully. Now let's take a look at this reed. We have the top part. This is the thin part up here. This is where the bark has been shaved away. Don't touch this part, because if you chip it, then the reed is no good. You have to buy a new one. Here we see the bark that was originally on the piece of reed. And then the thick bottom part, you can hold it like this. It's no problem. Just don't touch the top. The saxophone makes the best sound when the reed is wet. So the first thing you do when you're putting your saxophone together is take the reed and put the thin end of the reed in your mouth like this. So I'm putting it in my mouth and I'm stopping about where the bark starts, right here. Okay? And you hold it in your mouth while you're putting your saxophone together. So you do that at home. I'm not going to do that right now because then I can't talk. Okay, step 2. Look in your saxophone case for the mouthpiece. Looks like this. It might have a plastic cap on top of it right here. Just take that part off and put it to the side. We don't need that. And then this metal part here with the screws, that's called the ligature. We're going to gently loosen these screws. Don't unscrew them all the way. Just enough that it's loose. And we're going to slide it off like this. Take the ligature and set it back on top of your saxophone case. Next you need the neck. This is the neck. So we're going to take the mouthpiece and connect it to the cork of the neck. So line it up like this. Put the mouthpiece onto the neck by twisting it back and forth gently. Just like that. And you don't have to put it all the way on the cork. Just enough so it's snug and we have a little bit of cork showing. Now we have to make sure the mouthpiece is lined up correctly on the neck. Here is our mouthpiece and our neck, and I want you to look here. There's a hole right here on the mouthpiece, and there's the hole in the neck. They should be lined up. So this is correct. That is incorrect, and that is really incorrect. That's upside down. So we have the hole of the neck and the hole of the mouthpiece, and this is correct. Now pick up your mouthpiece and your neck, and in your other hand pick up the ligature that we set to the side. Now notice on the ligature there is a smaller hole and there's a bigger hole. When you put the ligature on the mouthpiece, you have to put the bigger end on first. If you put it on upside down, it won't go all the way on. See that? That means your ligature is upside down. So turn it around, and now we should be all the way on. Next thing you're going to do is loosen these screws so they're almost completely loose, but don't let them come apart. Just make them pretty loose. So remember, this whole time you should have been keeping the reed in your mouth like this. Okay? So the reed's in your mouth. We're going to take the reed out, and remember, hold it by the bottom, not at the delicate top part. Now we're going to learn how to put the reed onto the mouthpiece and ligature correctly. Here we have our saxophone mouthpiece and neck. Let's turn it so we're looking at the screws and looking at the hole in the mouthpiece right here and the hole in the neck right here. So we're looking at it just like this. You're going to hold it in your left hand like I am and put your thumb and your first finger up around the ligature and try to move the ligature up and down with your thumb and your first finger. Practice that. It's a little bit tricky, but you'll get it. Now with your right hand, you're going to come around with the reed. You have the thick bark end of the reed at the bottom and the delicate part at the top. We're going to take our left hand and push up the ligature a little bit. You're going to slide the reed, bottom end, underneath the ligature like that. And then pull the ligature down so it's snug. So it should look like that. Make sure the ligature screws are on top of the bark of the reed. They should not be up here over the shaved part of the reed. Now, we have to look very carefully at where the tip of the reed meets the tip of the mouthpiece, right here. You want to line it up so the tip of the reed is just about lined up with the tip of the mouthpiece. Take your thumbs and shimmy the reed until it's in place, lined up with the tip of the mouthpiece. Then tighten the screws so they're firm but not super tight. And that is how you put together your reed, ligature, mouthpiece, and neck. Make sure your reed is lined up with the tip of the mouthpiece and you can see a little bit of the black of the mouthpiece behind the reed. You are all now ready to move on to the next video in our beginner series, and that is learning how to make the band face.